Hi there, my name is McEachern. I'm a game developer and multimedia artist, and over the last 3 months, I've been working on a Western-themed multiplayer bullet hell. Welcome to Tumbleweed Tussle. But how did this all start? Rewind to January 2024, I was assigned the task of creating a video game in 3 months for my project management class. I knew from the start that I wanted to do 2 things with this project. I wanted to create a fully functional boss fight, and I wanted to create a local multiplayer experience. Both things that I've never done before, so this wasn't going to be a walk in the park. I started out by opening up a Miro board to brainstorm the direction I wanted to go in. At first, I was thinking of doing a typical space-themed shoot-'em-up, and I realized this idea was trash. So I went in a different direction. I decided on an asymmetrical, local multiplayer boss encounter. Wow, that's a mouthful. But I knew what I wanted, so I started prototyping. With the magic of moving squares and script libraries I've already written, I was able to create this stunning masterpiece. It then came to my attention that I might need actual characters, and a setting. So I went back to the Miro board and began brainstorming with some friends on potential settings and characters. We settled on a cowboy and his dog, set in the town of Tumbleweed. Behold, the Sheriff and Rufus. They might need some work, but we'll get to that later. I then got to work making the background art and prototyping the character moves. I wanted each character to have a unique set of actions that serve different roles in the boss fight. So I gave the Sheriff a lasso attack and a roll, and I gave Rufus a dash attack and a shield. This allows both characters an opportunity to take on both an offensive and defensive role in the boss fight in their own unique ways. There was only one problem. I didn't have anything for them to fight against. But I had one character in mind. During the brainstorming process, I had come up with a few different ideas for what the boss character could be. But one stood out as the right choice for this game. Meet Pricklebeard, a prickly outlaw with a killer stash. I planned out a 3-stage boss battle with multiple semi-randomly chosen attacks for each stage. I started prototyping some basic attacks, and things were going smoothly. And then I looked at my calendar. Deadlines were approaching, and I was starting to realize I was only going to be able to complete one of the stages in time for the project's deadline. This irritated me greatly, but this wasn't my first rodeo. I knew that the project as a whole would suffer if I adhered too rigidly to my initial plan. So I opted to drop the second 2 phases and prioritize making the first stage as fun as I possibly could. I redesigned the boss fight and settled on 6 different attacks that the boss would cycle through. Prickles, Blossoms, Hat Throw, Dynamite, Cactus Juice, and Fireballs. And now, for the part that I've been dreading the most, animation. I knew from the get-go that there was going to be a lot of animation for this project, but boy was I not looking forward to it. Over 200 frames of animation between all characters and assets, and I had left myself about 2 weeks to do it all. Not to mention, I still had to mix the sound effects, compose the soundtrack, produce the soundtrack, complete QA testing, and wrap up everything in a nice pretty bow. It was around this time I was starting to get a bit stressed out. I'd been chugging nearly 4 coffees a day and thinking about cowboys 24/7, and it was getting a bit exhausting. So I took a break, I shut everything down, and I played through a game on my backlog. It was wonderful. One of the things I've learned over the years as a game developer is that taking the time to do the things you enjoy and take care of yourself is not something to take for granted. Don't get me wrong, I love working my ass off, but it is crucial to take breaks and just breathe. Doing this gave me that extra bit of motivation to keep moving forward. I knew I could do what I needed to do. And so, after finishing up all the animations, wrapping up the soundtrack, and a lot of bug fixing, I was 99% finished Tumbleweed Tussle. There was just one thing left to do. QA testing. It's not quite as bad as it sounds. I sent a build over to some friends of mine and got them to play through the game. Aside from a few bugs, everything went super smoothly. So, after we finished, I fixed up those bugs, made a trailer, and created some marketing materials. It was time for release. I created the itch page and posted the trailer. I sent it off to the races. And that is how I made tumbleweed tussle. If you'd like to give it a try, I've got a link in the description and you can give it a free download. And if you'd like to hear more about the stuff I'm working on, you can check out my Instagram and follow me on my itch page. Thanks for coming along on my development journey, and stay tuned for more. Take care.